Hey everyone, and welcome back to Marvel Theory. So, Spider-Man, Multiverses, Tobey Maguire. It seems like the folks at Marvel Studios are doing some really funny stuff with their Tom Holland Spider-Man flicks. And when I say really funny stuff, I mean they're cracking open multiverses and mashing canons together. We would expect this from the likes of Sony, who are technically the folks in charge of Spider-Man in the movies. You know, they basically forced Kevin Feige to allow Venom into the MCU and other universe-bending deeds. But it seems like Marvel Studios is getting in on the weirdness too. So, let's take a step back. You're probably wondering what I'm talking about. Well, let's quickly review everything we know about Spider-Man, Marvel Studios, and Sony Pictures. The current Tom Holland Spider-Man is an MCU character, meaning he belongs to the same universe as Iron Man and the Avengers. Sony is also making their own superhero universe with Spider-Man's villains, but this universe hasn't been acknowledged by Kevin Feige and his team. Despite that, Sony's team has repeatedly referenced the MCU not only in press, but also in their actual universe. They showed off Spider-Man in a recent Morbius teaser and repeatedly claimed Venom was in the same universe as the Avengers. It's kinda convoluted, but basically Sony is pushing their villain universe to be associated with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and in that way get a back alley entrance into the main MCU. There's more to this bit of old news though. Kevin Feige loves the original Raimi Spider-Man trilogies, so much so that he recast J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson in last year's Spider-Man Far From Home. If Sony's weird attempts to force their way into the MCU wasn't confusing enough, the inclusion of J.K. Simmons into the MCU just breaks the whole thing open. J.K. Simmons played in not only a completely canonically different version of Spider-Man, the one with Tobey Maguire, but also in one developed by Sony Pictures. So, they're crossing the proverbial streams in two different messy ways. And now, well, we've got a big old leak. A photo has been snapped from behind the scenes of a massive superhero production, set in New York City, showing off the classic Daily Bugle logo from the original Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. That's right, not the new, trendy Bugle logo from Far From Home, we're talking about the logo from Raimi's Spider-Man. And that's not all. The production is rumored to be Venom, which adds another layer of mess onto the story. If the original Daily Bugle is operating in the Venom universe, then does that mean the Venomverse is actually the Raimi universe? But if Venom is supposed to be retroactively included into the MCU, how can the Raimi Daily Bugle fit in? Is Venom a prequel? And then what about the Morbius Spider-Man photo? That was taken from the PS4 video game. Is that just a placeholder? Or is Morbius's universe occupied by completely different Spider-Man? Is Tobey coming back? Why are they resurrecting so many elements of the classic trilogy if they're not going to also bring back Maguire? And I'm not talking about a one-off cameo in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They could easily throw Tobey in there for a cameo without investing too much of their narrative. But that's not what anyone wants. We want Tobey Maguire back on the big screen as Spider-Man. But I digress. As you can tell, this is getting kind of out of hand. Everything is getting pretty confusing as they mix different properties with each other. Kevin Feige, who's notoriously tidy about making a cohesive universe, mustn't be thrilled with how Sony is being willy-nilly with their Spidey assets. And I, as a massive fan, actually kind of love it. This is just like Marvel Comics. The comic books are so messy. Different writers jump onto different titles and suddenly Spider-Man transforms from a regular kid in Queens to a spider deity in Central America. It's wacky, it's all over the place, and it makes the universe that much deeper. An entire meta-narrative opens up about what exactly is happening and what the individual teams were crafting at the time of each story's events. So what do you guys think? Are you psyched by the wild new universes spinning out of Sony's villains universe? Or do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. As always, remember, with great power comes great responsibility.